Hey, good morning. I raided the other night with Raid Team 7. We're gonna just watch the raid footage that I took. Um, we just play a couple raids. Well, we do most of Heart of Thorns and Path of Fire, the raid bosses, but not many of the encounters. Like we skip Escort, Spirit Run, Castle, Twisted Castle, stuff like that. I'm playing a Ritualist tonight, and I think I play Reaper, a little bit of Reaper and a little bit of Harb and stuff, mainly just Necromancer. And I also push a little, but just going through Severe. First, we do the Cardinals first, usually. Trying to be fast about the tornadoes, and then I'll get my weapon skills up quickly, try to avoid the tornadoes. I have to lose my special action here, unfortunately. And I want to do as much CC as possible, so we got a big CC bar, just trying to fill it. Get my weapons out, start doing damage to the boss. Nothing really going wrong. Go up in the tornado. Yeah, I'm starting to record my footage so I can review it, because I randomly will die at spots, and I don't know if it's like my fault at times, or if I got chipped, why did I get chipped, and then did I die to a mechanic that I shouldn't have. I really like to die on Deimos. It seems like just randomly I'll get killed. It's my own fault every time. No, it really is. The tornado. Oop, that was dangerous. I always forget that on phase 3 I should not take that tornado on the left. So if I had lingered there any longer, I'd probably been immediately killed. We're doing our spreads. Get to our circles. I think I shadow step here, yeah. I'm so bad about rezzing my friends, sorry. Yeah, and I was punished for it. I got stood in the tornado, lost my special action, less damage. The whole reason I graded, I lost. Okay, and then I CC. My CC isn't the best on this fight, but I think it's... Well, I'm sure I have more in fear, which is totally cope, but because fear doesn't show up on the Defiance meter. Soft CC. I was able to save it that time. It's good to remember I'm standing in the center of the blooms, kind of where I'm standing. The tornadoes will always go around you, so you don't get tossed up. But yeah, that's Sabir. And then Adina. I think I'm baiting pillars here on my Power Harbinger. I actually like Power Harb as a pick here, because your Shroud is ranged, which is nice. and you spend enough time in Shroud. I mean, it would be nicer if I was melee, of course, but you still can get the job done in a better way than like a Reaper or a Ritualist, I think, would be able to. Because in Ritualist, you spend less time on Shroud. Here, I'm greeting. I think I die. Yeah. Idiot. I should have spent less time standing next to the boss and more time running. I could have threw down my wells while I was running, to be honest. But, yeah, so I down. That's my own fault. Luckily, my friends rezzed me. Oh, poor John Cogswell. He got stuck under the platform. And then I'm going to go in for the big burst on the boss, do my opener, rotation, and I'll bait my pillar. I could have gotten a Shroud 3 out, to be honest, but I was a little nervous to do it. Ooh, that pillar was a little close, but that's okay. We were able to avoid the shockwave. Keep bursting just a little bit. Yeah, see, now I'm moving away. Well, it's closer this time. Okay, I was able to get behind the pillar in time. I frightened myself even, I guess. Oop, I think that was a mistake. I should have... I actually don't know if that was a mistake in my rotation. It seemed fine. We phased him. During this phase, I should probably switch on Shroud and let it tick a little more, because I'm getting to be kind of low blight. Which I guess doesn't really matter, because I'm immediately back up to full blight. And I'd like to stack it here, maybe? Either way, I should start intentionally doing it. I think I think less about it, more about just throwing my heal at the beginning or at the end of this phase. But I whiffed it there. I canceled it, so that's my own fault. And then throw my bait the pillar. Yeah, see, I could have gotten my 3 out again. I think I canceled it, and I missed my Shroud 5, which means I don't get my Fireworks Relic back, which is kind of sad. But I get it back here. And I could have been casting that whole time, and then, but that's okay.
Why should there be more cosmos when one alone can command the power?
Ring around the rosy. Through the hands. Oh, I love to cancel my skills. I tried throwing that elixir like a couple times. Okay, doing my opener rotation again. You know what I need to do? I need to make sure my soul barbs is up before the phases transition, because I think that's what messed me up there. And I think I used my Shroud 5 a little too early, because I dropped Fireworks. And then, yeah, you can flick the eye, by the way. And then I Pork Crispy. I'm not resin him. I'm just gonna bait the pillar, kill the boss, go in for the melee, drop it away, and boom. Alright, and that's Adina. And then we need a thief to open the door into Samurag, so I'm playing a Daredevil. A Condi Daredevil. I haven't practiced this in quite a while. And as it'll become apparent, I keep dropping auto attack chains because I forgot that I disabled auto attacks. when I was playing Thief a lot a couple weeks ago, or a couple months ago, I guess at this point, I disabled auto attack because Thief seems to be a lot more intentional about just using every single skill that they use, and you need a lot more control, especially when you're using ambushes, because you could like early reveal. See, oop, that was dangerous. I was sweating with too many dodges and losing a little bit of control of my character. But I keep, well, I haven't practiced the rotation, so the dodge timings and the initiative usage is not very efficient, but I keep dropping chains because my auto attack wasn't on, and I was pressing 1, 2, and then waiting for the third attack to go off, and it didn't go off, and then I would go, why didn't it go off? Because I didn't have auto attack. Anyway, so my number looks even worse than it would on the board, but we get through it. It's just Mersat Overseer. Aw, poor Orwan. Died to the spikes. Became a kebab. And we're done. And then I go run up to the door.
Did anyone else hear that?
And I think I switched to Power Daredevil here. Although there's a few things that I'll probably change for next week if I do this again and run Thief for to unlock the door. I'll probably bring offhand spear instead of dagger pistol, because spear seems way more, well, they're the same efficiency on the 4 skill, but you can generate endurance back easier on the spear. Also, spear is just kind of like fun to play, and I don't feel as punished when I swap to spear off of staff. Yeah, because I would swap to dagger pistol to, we'll see here because it's the opening rotation, so we're doing the first 10%. The CC phase will come up, so I'm using my CC on the staff. No, actually I canceled it. I whiffed that CC so bad, and then I got fixated, so my number is going to be terrible. Okay, so no wonder my CC contribution on this was lower than usual. Anyway. But yeah, see, I was on dagger pistol to do my unload pistol 4 into the CC bar. But now I feel bad because I have to use Heartseeker to do damage, although I could use the 3 because I guess technically it's currently a better damage or coefficient or multiplier or whatever it is on it. I definitely whiffed Bassie there, although it was my only choice because I was the fixate. Oh, that's rough. That makes me feel really bad. Although I think after this I yelled. I didn't actually yell, but Crispy and I told Crispy you should probably start baiting the fixate if he's not going to do CC because he's the healer. And this is my static group, by the way, so we're always trying to make it more efficient and stuff. But yeah, so I think he starts to bait the fixate after, and then I could start doing my CC again. But yeah, I'd probably bring spear next time. So we use our Bassie, the big old bomb, and our ambush should do some CC, and we're back on the meter, although it's not, as much as it could be. And see the unload, but I'm already out of initiative. If I gotta remember how to get more initiative. I think it's just the timing. I know on Deadeye, the 7. Oops, see, I canceled my Bassi there. That's a problem that I always have, is I cancel it. Because I just don't let the animation finish. But I know on Spear, I'll be able to refresh some initiative, because I think at the end of a combo, you get more, and the combo is either 2-2-2, 3-3-3, or any combination of the 3 in sequence, or you could do the 4-2-3, 4-3-2. You could use the 4 as an opener as long as a finisher was used prior. That's what it is. So if I do... was just watching Wes stand there, but that's fine, because I mean, we kind of want to get used to that if we're gonna do CM eventually. But so on Spear, I could use the ambush on the Spear as long as it's used after a finisher to regain some initiative. So if I see that I'm low on initiative before the 10% CC bar is happening, I could use a finisher real quick, ambush, get my initiative back, and then 4 and get a whole bunch of CC. Especially if I time my Bassi correctly to be like precast, so that when he's jumping, I'm casting, and then everybody has Bassi, and then I 4. Probably be a lot of CC. And that's my favorite thing to do on Samurai, is see how high I could get my Defiance damage contribution to be. It's my favorite part. But see, Crispy knows that I like to do that, so he GG's at 10%, so he doesn't let me get the log. Whatever, it's funny. Alright, we're doing Deimos. It seems like I got a hot feet, but I think we were talking about it in voice Discord that we're ready to go, so just run ahead. Alright, we're doing our chains, watching the swipe. Looks like I'm playing Ritualist again on this. Swapped off of my Thief. We're trying to kill all 4 chains to unleash the boss. Unfortunately, we haven't been too good about coordinating lately. The chains seem to break at uneven times. We might get it here. Might tick down. No, looks like we're going to have to go down for one final push. That's okay. And then we do our opening burst. Go, go, go. We don't really got much to do except watch this pizza. And as a Ritualist, we have our F4, which provides an Aegis. Our healer should take care of it, but, you know, as a Ritualist, we have access to free resources, so we should share them. If didn't have Aegis there, so maybe next time we let the healer take care of the first one and we do the second one, you know, or we yell at the healer when they don't do it the second time. Really what I could have done here, and I usually do, is bring Weapon of Warding, because it is technically a stackable block with Aegis, because it's a unique buff on your status bar and not Aegis, but also blocks attacks. It'll use Aegis first and then your Weapon of Warding. So technically you have 2 blocks on you, which is nice for something like Deimos with Mind Crush, because sometimes there's arena damage that's happening from the tears, and you might get your Aegis stripped. And so if you don't have a channel block or something like that for yourself, it might hurt. Yeah, so here I made a mistake. I didn't realize Mind Block was happening. Or Mind Break was happening, and I didn't stand in the ward, the blue circle. And so I went over to the Saul clone right here with the Matthias staff. Or with the White Mantle staff. Trying to kill it, and then nobody came this way. And so I immediately went down, and then didn't get rezzed, and just kind of died. My own fault, I guess. Kind of sucks. But my team was able to pull through, get the clear, and we'll just watch the rest of the fight. Watch Saul. It's kind of funny though. The team didn't do the mechanic and kill the ad, because ideally you want to kill the Saul with the different staff, and as you can see, one of them has like this, the one that's targeted right now that I keep clicking on, has a staff that's different from the other two. Or the other three that spawned that are now dead. But so you kill that one, and then it spawns the regular Saul, and then you kill that Saul, and then he's gone. But they just kind of ignored it for a while. The tank is tanking the boss, which makes sense. So, but they just kind of decided to ignore it, which I guess is a decent strat. Seems like we could just potentially, but it also makes this mechanic, the Mind Crush, because they could strip your Aegis, but it looks like they were able to pull through on that mechanic, not have to worry about it too much. And they'll hit 10% on the boss here in a second, and we'll phase. Cool. And then they do the mechanic, they kill this Saul, it bursts the illusion, he comes back up, he's at 50%, they didn't even touch him yet. And they'll burst him down. And then we'll go into the underworld. Or wherever we were at. We're not technically in the underworld. Deimos pops up in his scary form. And they should be able to take out the boss. I'm just looking at everyone's bursts here, it looks like. It seems like people were doing a good job. Or rather, I was just doing a really bad job. Seems like we touched some oil. Rapidly spread. Does a lot of damage if you stand in it, so everybody's got to run out and range the boss down best they can. And we were able to pull through. A little scuffed at the end, but it is what it is. My fault too. I died pretty early. About halfway through the fight. Stinks. But we move on. Let's see what's next. I think Slothazor. I volunteered for Mushroom 4 back on Ritualist. Brought some pulls, extra CC. Be careful in your opener not to pull. So I use my Greatsword 5 as a CC to activate my Claw Relic, but it's a pull, and your friend is a slub in that moment, so you don't want to pull him in by accident, so you got to be very intentional about where you aim it. We're just doing our first burst. Hopefully the fixate will move the boss soon. Looks like it's crispy. Maybe it wasn't. Anyway, 80%, so we do our first CC. I'm going to throw my Golem because it's pretty hard hitting. Don't want to use my pulls yet because I wanted to pull the Slublings, but then we do big damage. Making sure to always hit the boss. Only the person that's fixated really matters where they stand. So as long as you're not fixated, you should be hitting the boss. So that's what I do. Looks like the John Cogswell, our next mushroom, is gone and eating the mushrooms, clearing the field for us. We're going to do some CC. Hopefully it doesn't troll John. Go back into our bursts now that he's vulnerable. We're keep going. We got some coconuts. If you double dodge it at the right time, you can avoid all the coconuts. I was lucky to get it. I don't think most time of the day I do. Slightly off. Either because I'm casting other animations or whatnot. Oop. Our slub got pulled in by accident, looks like, and then I delivered the final blow in a cleave. So that stinks. But I'm fixate now, so I'm going to try and bring Sloth as close to where it'll be safe as possible. So we're over here. I'm lucky that my skills as a necromancer, especially a ritualist, help me be so tanky. I mean, Ritualist Shroud is crazy by itself. You can pretty much perma-sustain yourself through most things. And they just added in extra lifesteal on Greatsword, so it's really nice. Okay, my mushroom's up. We are in desperate need of some safe spots to stand. So I'm just going to eat as fast as I can and run away from my friends so that they don't kill me by accident. We have some spaces to stand, which is nice. This is a little overkill. I don't think we needed this mushroom, but safe than sorry. Do a little bit more, get my relic and my buffs up. Start doing damage. We got some coconuts, gotta dodge, bring some slubs in, but we do it. We manage it in the end. And we move on to the next boss. So this is this clip. I usually clip out most of the like wipes because this is still a newer group, so we do have some wipes, and we prog some fights that people might not have seen and stuff like that. So, but I left this in because this was really embarrassing, and we'll see what happens. But so this keep construct, it's pretty simple. He's mainly a golem most of the time. You just like stand near him, punch on him, and move him a few steps every once in a while. Which is why it's so embarrassing that I caused a wipe this pull. It happens pretty early on, but... So we're doing the mechanic. We kill the 2 ghosts on the boss. It strips him of his damage reduction stacks. And then... yeah, he gets his Defiance bar. We break the bar, and he does some... green circles. You need at least 2 people in each green circle for it to for them to pass. So that's important to know. You need at least 2 people per green circle. The orb, we're having a little bit of problems with the orb push as of late, so you want the orbs to go into the rift, because when they go into the rift, first they stun the boss and they add a vulnerability stack to give the boss take more damage. So it gives you an extra burst phase to get you to where you want. It's really good. We didn't hit that, and unfortunately we also CC'd. So now we're having another split phase, 1% before the actual phase. So that kind of embarrassing, kind of all over the place. I'm chasing a, look at what I do. I ran out of the green circle right as it, and boom. So don't do that. We want to stand in the green circles. But I think this is the redemption. So we're back. We're doing our opener again. And yeah, usually you only need like one rift. You only need the orb to go into one rift. It gives you plenty of time to just wail on the boss and get him to 66. Because during this phase, let's see, we'll probably get him to maybe like 75-ish, maybe if not a little more. A little less, actually. Yeah, a little more, 78. Depends on the group. Some groups do a different strat where they can actually phase the boss before you even need to CC and see this phase entirely. You could skip it. So you don't even need to do the orbs because you already phased. But yeah, see, we have some mechs that are kind of punching the orb, trolling a little bit, so we don't get our damage buff, we don't get the stun on the boss, and he immediately starts attacking, which kind of stinks. Because we have a couple, like 8% now to get to. We need to get him to 66%. We will still do it, and it'll work out, I believe, in this pull. But it's a little more dangerous than it needs to be. And takes more time. Because we want fast kills. We want to always improve. Orb collection phase now. So you want to collect the orbs that's on the symbol above your head. I think I trolled a little bit. I let an orb go through, unfortunately. I cycle into Shroud there just to get a stack of soul barbs going so that I have my 15% damage modifier ready to go as soon as the phase starts. Less important on something like a ritualist, I guess, where you are immediately in Shroud, but definitely more noticeable on something like a Harbinger where you have to set up more. I was a little late running there myself, so I could be yelled at, but so Wolf knew what to do, separate the fixates just a little bit, and we're back into the green phase.
It's no matter. Repairs are trivial. Keep your hands off that.
Doing another orb phase. Let's see. We have better mech control. I think we yelled at some of the mechs. They had better mech control. We actually got a rift, so now the boss will be stunned. We get a nice burst phase. We're looking for 33. Unfortunately, one of the ads didn't blow up on the boss, so he still has his DR stacks, but that's fine. Looking for 33. We got a few more to go through. I think we make it easily. Well, not so easily, but we make it. Just kind of panicking a little bit, trying to get them all. And then I decide I'm just going to run around like a little rat. Doesn't look like I set myself up with soul barbs. Nope, I did. My soul barbs was up. That's fine. Good for me. Back to hitting the boss. Drop out of Shroud. Unfortunately, I do most when I'm inside the boss because of my projectiles that go off from various skills that I have. So I get hit with a lot of confusion there. And can kind of stink. I'm not sure if this ad dies on the boss, but that's okay. Let's see if John will bring the ad back. Yep, looks like he does. Poor John, we nuked him a little bit. I could have ran a little farther away, but I didn't. Sue me. And see, I'm just in Shroud, so I'm just tanking the damage. I don't even care. As long as you're fast
What
enough.
is real? Can you
You're
tell?
summoning enough spirits, you're using enough of your ineverates and invigorates. I don't know. The F skills.
It's no matter. Repairs are trivial. Keep your hands off that!
I think we got an orb, so we got a burn phase. We're real close. Should be no problem. Just finish the boss off
Limitless.
and get our loot. Easy win. Keep construct down. And what is next? Gorseval. And this one's pretty easy, self-explanatory. We're gonna hit the boss. We want stability for this slam right here. Boom. And luckily I can provide some. Big damage, big boss, you know. You know how it is. We'll do a fast CC, because why not? Get some CC contribution on the board. You know, that's my favorite. And 66%, we're gonna phase. So this group likes to do like a NASCAR pretty much. We go from ad to ad, killing them one at a time. Other groups, they like to split 2 and 2, but we do it a little different. We have a druid, and he likes to entangle the souls. So it's pretty fast. We charge them down, stay together, keep the boons up. Makes it simple. Rit's really nice here because you do have stability and time for that first slam pretty much every time, so you're not reliant on your healer supports to provide it for you, because unfortunately, you know, depending on the groups that you run with, if you're pugging a lot, you know, people won't always provide that for you. Here I got a little lost. It was like, where the heck am I going? Follow the Zerg. That's the one nice thing about it, is when groups split 2 and 2, or 5 and 5, it's easy to get lost because I'm like, well, which side am I on? Whereas usually beforehand I'll put a marker on somebody that I know, but then I'm putting trust in them that they know where to go, so it's like, it's a little chickeny at times. But when everybody's going to the same place, it's nice. So here we go with eggs. I gotta remember, I used to be really bad about getting hit with those eggs. There are little circles on the ground. You can't evade them. You have to stand out of them. Otherwise, they put you in an egg, and your friends have to break you out. But what it does is it, like, interrupts everything. In some cases, I think it kills my minions. It will take you out of Shroud. It's really just terrible. Completely messes up your rotation. So we do that, and then we run on to Sabbatha. This part's a little boring. I probably should have cut it out. I might still. But we're just in the raid. We're in the Spirit Vale. Going from Gorseval to Sabbatha. Killing bandits along the way. This part's nice when you do it. It introduces you to the cannon mechanic that we try to skip anyway, but it does introduce you to the mechanic. And then we go up the stairs. I got a bomb, so I can use it on the jump pad to go flying. And then we'll lower the cranes down for our friends. And we'll start killing some of these bandits. Because why not?
I'll deal with them myself. Drop your weapons and release the prisoners, or we'll tear this place.
Going in for Sabbatha now. Here's the last boss of Wing 1.
You really have no idea what's inside this compound, do you? Only the
I try to lag behind a little bit so that the healer can take the first bomb. I like to rush in and be a little impatient sometimes, but it's good to remember patience. My lack was up a little late, but that's okay. It'll still end up working. And the way that this group does this is we pretty much ignore all cannons until like 50%, and at which case we do one cannon, and it's the one behind us, so that we have a safe spot the entire time, because the way that the cannons spawn is at, I can't remember which way we enter the arena, but when we run in, it's oriented in a way where we stand, well, I'll just orient it in my mind how I orient it. So north, south, west, east, right? The cannons spawn south. They go around, so they go south, west, north, east, and then it goes south, north, west, east. So east is always the last one. So if you stand at east, then you're waiting for the last cannon to spawn, at which point you kill that cannon. And then you wait a whole other round for that last cannon to spawn, but by the time that cannon spawns, the boss should already be dead. So you stand at east, you let the healers bait out the bombs that spawn to either ways, and the rest of the group just stands in a spot where none of the cannons are firing. And that's kind of what we're doing here. I think the cannon just went out. Yep, the cannon just went out on east. See? They went out, they killed the cannon, and they're coming back. And now we're watching the platform. There's AoEs on all sides, but not where we're standing. And it's our job to just stand a little bit back, so we're not standing in the AoEs. You do take, obviously, some damage, right? Of course, it gets a little chaotic, but that's why we have healers. It's not too bad to even heal through some of this chip damage. It just is the fight. Otherwise, we don't really need... we would need one healer, because there isn't much damage happening otherwise. The reason you wouldn't want to do this is if you don't have the damage to clear it before the platform explodes, because if you look at the top right corner, the platform is about 50% health, and if the platform loses all its health before the fight is over, we all fall to our death. But that shouldn't be a problem. Even with 3 cannons up, we have the damage to take it down. So we're just keeping ourselves alive, keeping our friends good, trying not to blow them up with mechanics, avoiding that flame wall. I got blown up there, but that's okay. We're able to recover. Hopefully we res our friends. I don't know if I hit F at any point. Probably not, because I'm super greedy, but our Paragon has battle standard, so that's a AoE friend res, which is really nice. And we clear the boss, no problem.
Okay, everyone, let's convene.
Let's see what's next. I think we have Cairn and then Soulless Horror left.
We need to find out what.
Zara. We did Zara. This was scary. I think I got a little trigger habit. Yep. I jumped off the ledge as soon as the ready check, but I was able to catch it. Still scary though. So I'm doing right. I think this... Yeah, this is definitely my rift. Just quickly get the ball in the rift. Once all three are in, the shard becomes vulnerable. Why did I open my... Oh, I guess I just wanted to make sure I had the right trait. We get on our buttons. Take down the shard.
You will answer for that.
Gotta wait for our friends. Kill their shard.
Don't you dare!
I'm panicking here because I'm losing life force. It's really gonna mess me up if I don't have life force going into the phase. Luckily I was able to get it working, get my opener. I wish I had some alacrity, but that's okay. Well, I say that, but oh, and then I realized, just like I realize now, that the reason I don't have alacrity is because my alacrity healer has died. So this was a little bit of a fake fight for me, because my log was not as good as it could have been, obviously, if I had my alacrity, which is a critical boon. So we're just going through the fight, making sure, you know, we're doing all right. We get to 50% before we face the boss, but we always do that. You know, I really got to say the game is, in situations like this, the game feels really, really unfun to play. Well, I don't know. For me, anyway, because I just don't like the concepts of quickness and alacrity, to be honest. We've had them for forever. Quickness has been in the game since launch, but the philosophy around the skills has definitely changed. Well, I guess what I don't like is I believe that quickness and alacrity, they should just roll the effects into the base skill lines, have them always active or never active. Either get them, get rid of it. Whenever you're playing with a group and you don't have 100% quickness and alacrity uptime, it just feels really, really bad because you feel sluggish, because your skills aren't going off as quickly enough. If you're playing at a higher degree, you might cancel your skills unintentionally because you're getting into a flow when suddenly you lose a boon, and then you just start canceling your skills. What quickness and alacrity also do is they enable you to do even more damage because your skills are coming off of cooldown faster, and you're casting them faster. So you're reducing two different metrics and enabling you to move faster. So in a way, these boons contribute incredibly to your... I kind of trolled here, sorry guys, but I didn't want to do the island, so I used Spectral Walk to teleport. Anyway, it feels really bad when you're in a group where your supports are not supporting you properly because you're doing significantly less damage than if your boon lineup was better. So in that way, you're so reliant on your boon supports to enable you to do better. Because if this run I had played in the other subgroup, my number would look completely different.
Submit to the white mantle.
And it just feels worse to play because I don't have alacrity. My skills aren't coming off cooldown. My rotation's completely messed up. I'm like,
My power is limitless.
I like a little bit of dependency on my teammates, but having your own individual performance be so heavily relied on the necessity of group like support or composition just feels really bad, because as soon as your healer or your boon support dies, like, the entire group suffers.
Power.
I just wish they could figure out a more interesting way to balance groups than having a necessity for a quickness provider and an alacrity provider. Either roll them into the base skills or get rid of them, balance around that. I think that would also really help raise the skill floor of this game, because people will have more consistent results with their own individual performance. If you roll quickness and alacrity into the base skills, I mean, that's just a universal buff, right, for like everyone, because you're no longer relying on it. Maybe you want your boons to I mean, this is a complaint that I've had since, forever, and I don't think they'll actually have I don't think they'll ever do it unless they do come out with the Guild Wars 3. But at that point, I think they'd completely redesign combat and stuff in a way that's like transformative, like how Guild Wars 2 is completely different from Guild Wars 1. So they might entirely move away from the boon system. But I think the boon system was really good when it wasn't so reliant on 100% boon uptime of everything. Like, you really wanted to keep might up, right? But you had to, like, blast fire fields, and most things didn't just passively give might. You had to, intentionally bring skills that would give might, or, blast so, like, and I think it would simplify the game, but also, like, make the game more accessible. I just think it'd make it, like, easier, unless... I don't even know if easier is the right word. I just think it would make it more interesting, I think. Interesting could be. If we actually had, like, real design or team comp philosophy for what roles are. If we had a need for a tank on fights, or a role for damage mitigation instead, group damage mitigation and healing maybe as, like, 2 supports, although you don't really want 2 healers in a sub party. So what are those roles? Yeah. You could turn it into a tank, where the tank, I mean, I would enjoy more tank mechanics, give me a reason to have different builds other than healer and DPS with, like, 3 trait changes, 1 or 2 or 3 trait changes, so that they could be a boon provider. I mean, it's just not interesting. It bores me. Anyway, this is Conjured Amalgamate. I was standing on that other platform to bait out the arm, otherwise it would have went to the far side and kind of screwed up the group. Throw an arm just to stun the boss, and we go into collection. Here comes the arm again. Cleave the arm, cleave the boss, kill the boss, win the fight. That's what you gotta do. Whew. Got spicy at the end. Here we are at Twin Largos.
Don't try too hard. This will be embarrassing enough for you.
Kind of like Gorseval, the circles on the ground or bubble you, they stun you. Friends have to break you out or you fall. Oh, I have a CM attempt in here. I don't think that was intentional. We did do a CM attempt, but that's okay. We'll get all the way to the end. We'll explain kind of what we did, because we wiped right at the end, which was kind of silly. But the challenge mode is no different from the... Well, it's slightly different from the regular mode. Here I got the title pool, but the run was going off, so I ran all the way to the other side because I knew we were going to jump soon. But the challenge mode is basically at every 20% you have to jump off of the platform, otherwise you instantly die, and you fly back on with the water spouts. And there's 2 different Largos that we fight, so I'm playing my Condi Harb here. I forgot to mention that. I really like Condi Harb. It's pretty fast paced. You get less health, but more damage is the trade-off, which I really like. You get to spend plenty of time in Shroud, and the one thing that I really like about Harb is Harbinger is that your Shroud isn't connected directly to your health pool, so you don't accidentally get kicked out of Shroud prematurely if you happen to take some damage or something, which is really nice and forgiving. And we're split for phasing. 2 subgroups split up, take on different bosses at this point.
Fight with me, brother. The Jinn's finally given us something with teeth.
Got some CCs. Unfortunately on Harb I don't have a ton of CC. I got, what I got and I can throw it, but I'm more reliant on my teammates to carry the CC. Some fights it ends up lining up pretty well where my CC skills are needed right when I'm using them anyway for my damage rotation. I missed the bait there somehow. I have a habit of baiting in tornadoes, which kind of sucks. I probably shouldn't be doing that, but I should probably always stand behind the tornadoes, because I think I have a tendency of standing behind the tornadoes. Or in front of them. I have a tendency to stand in front of them rather than behind. I didn't bait correctly there, so we got stripped. She gained a whole bunch of boons, making her stronger, harder to kill. Yeah. She has a resolution on her right now. I think I get stripped again. Nope. Still has resolution, so taking way less Condi damage. I think like 33% less Condi damage. So just cutting by a lot, just completely tanking my damage. Slow on the CC because I think... Yeah, just slow on the CC. Anyway. Moving. Just gonna try to get her pretty low. I think I wait out the bait and then I run over. But see, this is where we so there's 13 seconds left and they have about 2% left on that boss to kill. And I'm over here. We have 30 seconds to kill 6%, but they weren't able to kill the 2%. So we wiped. But we do it on normal mode and we clear it immediately.
Don't try too hard.
It's the same fight though, you just don't
This
jump
will be
off
embarrassing enough for
the
you.
edge. So anyway, we'll probably fast forward through this because not much has changed. Headed in for Veil Guardian. Yeah, I die here. That kind of stinks. I got chipped right before. I'm not sure what by, but then when the green went off, I went from like probably 85% to nothing. Oop, that was my fault. I shouldn't have Greatsword 5 that Seeker in. I'm really bad about that. I need to aim it more intentionally. Because, yeah, that's a troll. If I would do that in a high-end group, that would get me flamed. For sure. Playing my Power Harb again. So, well, this is different from my Condi Harb. It's the power variant, of course. I really like... I like Power Harb for all the same reasons I like Condi Harb. You know, your Shroud is not connected to your health. But also, it's a Fireworks rotation for the Relic. I like Fireworks, especially on Necro, even though they nerfed it a little bit with... Nightfall on the Greatsword, they nerfed it. But if I were to practice and actually like remember my rotation, I would have an even better time keeping up my Fireworks Relic. So, but it's pretty fun. I like using Greatsword, I like using Spear, and I like Harb. Pretty mobile, big damage. And I will usually run it if I don't need heavy CC on a fight. And if I do need heavy CC on a fight, I'll run Ritualist. Both kind of meet the same criteria. Both are power builds, pretty good, meet the same, you know, fit the same bill, but Ritualist just has so much more CC. So. Red Guardian can only take damage from condition damage, and since I'm running a power build, I wasn't really able to contribute, but I still ran over to smack it, tickle it down just in case. Help to clear time a little bit. onto Matthias.
Elements, I command you to bend to my will. Your sacrifice will bring him life. He will not be pleased.
I got smacked with the Hadouken.
Elements are in my grasp. Your sacrifice will bring him life. He will not be pleased. Yeah.
Crispy almost killed Wolf there. That was pretty spicy. I was watching them both backpedal at the same time. Oh, I was kind of silly here. I just kept running in the wrong direction. I probably should have stayed close because of how low health I was, but I didn't want to blow anybody up with the
He will not be pleased.
with the AoE around me. So instead I just ran away, which was, I think, still not a great choice. Got kicked, try to separate those greens so I don't blow anybody else up. And then everything after this, we don't need CC. It's pretty much just hitting the boss and don't kill your friends with spreads. And then when spreads go off, you know, come back together, reboon, heal up. I'm really so mean I never hit F to res my friends. But I really should. But I don't want to because I look at the DPS meter and I go, you know? Like, I feel bad, but I'm like, I don't want to stop hitting the boss. And the boss is dead. Up next, Cairn. I don't know if this was actually a good fight for me, but it is what it is. Cairn, you know, I'd like to speak to your manager. Try to stay out of those orange AoE circles that spawn on the ground because they teleport you around. So I'm trying to stay as close to the boss as possible without standing on him. And I also want to be close to the boss as opposed to farther back, because if I stand farther back, I get hit with his swipe, which knocks you back and just makes it really impossible. And the furthest 3 people from the boss get hit with a agony AoE that hurts you and your allies repeatedly. So if I stand off or if I get further enough away, if I get teleported or anything, I'm probably going to get hit with an agony, and then I have to stand off group so I don't get as much healing and I don't get as many boons, so I don't do as much damage. And we just discussed how I feel about that. So yeah, it's punishing. It can be very punishing. especially when, back to the boon conversation, especially when boon providing boons is not standardized in a way that, like, some classes can give boons in a 600 meter radius and others give it in like a 200. And it's and some classes are at like disadvantage because you can't run certain classes on certain encounters where people need to be spread out more. Right? So when you're designing things like that, some tools are only usable in some areas, but these tools, these boons that are critical, need to be provided. So if you can't provide them effectively, you can't play that class.
You dare draw breath in the realm of the dead.
Or you can play that class, but people are going to flame you, or people like me are going to get upset because I don't have 100% boon uptime. Anyway, here we are in Soulless Horror. We're doing pushing. I'm pushing on a druid. I like to personally push on a DPS druid, so I'm in full berserker gear. I have a longbow. I run Brawler, Relic of the Brawler, which gives me damage buff every time I gain myself protection, which I use every time, or I gain protection every time I use a glyph. And as you can see, my job is to push the Tormented Dead off of the platform so that when it explodes, it doesn't leave its nasty puddle on the group. I do that by using my Glyph of Tides, and then I use my Longbow 4, I forget the skill name, to push it even further. I'll do it again. Tormented Dead is up, using my Glyph, using my Longbow, and then I kill with my Longbow. He walked back a little bit, so we'll see the puddle. I let my friends know in voice that the puddle's there, just watch your feet. They were able to move out. Unfortunately it is what it is, but we make do with what we got. So it's a lot of just the same. I was able to immobilize the Tormented Dead, kill it off the boss. I'm just contributing what little damage I can, because I am still technically a druid, so I'm able to do a little bit of healing, little bit of damage. I'm able to do as much damage as I can to kill the Tormented Dead, but otherwise I'm back on the boss, shooting it, providing some healing, and because Alacrity is so important, again, it refreshes your skills. I need them for pushing. I also have the Alacrity trait for my druid, so I'm providing Alacrity as well. It's not necessary because my my Paragon healer is also providing Alacrity, but in case he goes down or dies, I still need Alacrity to push effectively, so I bring it just in case. I'm having a little bit of trouble with the pushes, unfortunately. Had to blow up on the platform. We don't really want that, but we should still be able to manage. Got some more on the boss. The dead is up. I'm pushing them off.
Your rotten soul is mine.
Then we do a little more CC, and the boss should be dead. We were lucky with the walls, but we did pretty good. With a good pusher, it definitely transforms that fight. So, and then here we are at Kadim the Peerless. This is our newest fight for the raid static. A bunch of people here haven't learned it. I am doing pylon kiting. You can use a bunch of different builds for this. I was just being lazy. I'm a necromancer main. I like playing necro. So I set up my Scourge to do it. Pretty much you just need a portal to catch the orbs, or some sort of mobility skills to catch the orbs and get back to your pylon to deposit them quickly. Scourge has, enough mobility to do that. I should ask Crispy next time, because I was learning about the tether mechanic, and the more good tethers we have, the more damage the boss takes. So if I stand in positioning with Crispy, I should be able to provide him with a good tether to increase damage for the group, which would be really good. Another issue I have with this fight when I do Scourge here is I get quickness and I get alacrity and I think I get some might, but I don't give myself enough might or as much as I probably could, which kind of stinks. So I think I need to build craft that a little bit. Maybe I use a different relic, because I think right now I'm just using Fractal Relic. But if I use something like Midnight King, whenever I disable an enemy, I gain Might and Fury. So that might be good because I disable on my F4 when I use it, if I use it. Usually I don't because I don't need to. It doesn't do any damage. But if I... it would at least boon me a little bit. Or I could use potentially... What's the other one? Mistburn, I think it is. The one that's like... Whenever you gain more might, and then at 25 stacks of might, you like boost it. Something like that. That might be nice for this, because I always seem like I'm low. I sit at like 12 stacks of might, and that kind of sucks. Because I wish I was doing more damage, you know. Especially on something like a Scourge, and this is the... I'll probably just have to look at a guide, because I'm sure somebody has figured it out already. But most of the time when I kite, I'm kiting on a Deadeye... Well, a Deadeye, because Deadeye is a really good pick for it. They do passive healing based on strike damage that they deal, and you're kiting on a rifle usually. Or power build. Some people use unload pistol, Deadeye. But... Oh, unfortunately I should have portaled a little sooner. I was going to portal out of the way, but my portal didn't go off fast enough, so I got knocked down. I think that would have killed me on CM, unfortunately, but, you know, live and learn. But it's really good on Thief. Thief has more CC than I think I would, but also your Steel, your Mark, your Deadeye's Mark provides you with boons if you take it. Bountiful Theft, I think. Now, I don't know if you do, but... See, I should have went to the other pylon instead of Aura's pylon, because I don't have the range to hit the boss from that pylon, but I still want to get the good tether so that the group does more damage. So I should have went to this other pylon instead, because there were no fires obstructing the walkway. But we recover. The reason I like taking the this elite, the Desolation elite on this encounter, is because at this point in the fight, Kadim, I don't know if he steals them or if he gains boons from this bad tether that we all have, but having enough strips. Oh, it's not even that phase of the fight yet. little bit of a dummy. Oh, that's why. I was confused because it was still pylon up, but we couldn't get to the pylon, and usually by that point it's the middle. So actually I was doing a disservice by having my special action on because I was creating a bad tether, I think, which, yeah, so that's my fault. But now I like how, because he gets boons constantly throughout the fight, and I don't know if he's stealing them or if he just generates them himself, but quickness, alacrity, he has might, fury, I saw resolution. Yeah, all of that's gonna make him do more damage, cast faster, cast more, you know, whatever. And having strips is really nice. Plus it's a stat you can keep track of, and, you know, like defiance damage. I don't actively keep track of it, but it would be nice too. Here I see aura down. Make sure to res him. And we got a few more percent to go. I kind of trolled there with the portal. I was gonna see if I could res him, but I didn't. I just accidentally took the portal back. I knew it was gonna happen. I did it anyway, so. Just to see if I could work around it. I couldn't though. But, yep, so that's the end of Raid Night. Got through everything. A little bit of commentary. Hope you enjoy. See you later.